Hello, Zoltan here from Adagio Hands, releasing stuck bodies. In this video, we're going to look at spinal shape, spinal alignment, and it's of particular interest for people who may have lower back pain or pain, tension in their mid-back or pain in the neck. Before we get started, there is a change to the background that I just wanted to draw your attention to. A very kind client of mine got me a cactus, Sansevieria it's called, and you see it says rough and tough. So this will feature on my virtual mantelpiece here over future videos. And rough and tough, resilience. Really, that's what we're talking about here with the spine as well. Because we want a spine, right, that's resilient, that can handle a bit of shock, absorb a bit of shock, and then return the energy, that has some bounce, that isn't rigid, easily broken, brittle. So the kinds of questions that I'm going to address here, because I found a number of clients have asked me over the years, is what kind of lumbar arch should we have? The technical term is lordosis. Should we have a big arch here in our lower back, or should it be relatively flat? Another question that's kind of related to that, for example, is they have pain when they're standing, but not when they're sitting. Sometimes it's the other way around. They end up with pain after an extended time of sitting, but actually when they stand, it eases off. So those are the kinds of questions that I find come up time and time again, and I thought it's about time to make a video on those. Let me start by drawing a very crude diagram of the spine. So this is the shape of your average spine. It's called an S shape. And if you imagine this is your head up here, so this is your neck, this is your mid-spine, this is your lumbar spine, and then it goes down further. This is your sacrum, your bum. And in fact, some people talk about 7 or 8 curves in the body, in the superficial back line as it's known. But here we're really talking about these 3 curves. So the neck curve, then the thoracic mid-spine curve, and then the lower back, lower lumbar curve. And what you find is if there's a very pronounced arch here, then that will lead to compression, right? So the vertebrae will be pressing on the discs and there'll be compression, everything will be closer, maybe it'll be compressing a nerve, or there'll be a bit of virtual rubbing of those structures causing inflammation and leading to pain. Conversely, here you're more likely to have tension. So here it will be the muscles under tension, trying to hold on, getting fatigued, ending up with big knots in the muscles, and that may lead to discomfort and pain there. And then in the neck, again, more likely it's going to be a compression again, as that neck is arched the other way. And you may already see the linkage. So provided that your body is more or less vertical, the more compression, the more arch you have here, then the more you have to have the arch the other way here. The more you have this arch here, then the more you have that arch here. So these things are interlinked. And what we want to avoid is having any one of these curves so big that it then causes compression or tension somewhere else that then leads to pain. And by the way, a very common spot here is the spot between the thoracic and the lumbar spine. So it's about here at the base of your ribs, if you feel for it. That can also often get tight, because if you have a big arch here, if your lower back is tight and not moving very much, then this part has to pick up the slack to move your upper body. And so there's more movement here than is really necessary. And when you have more movement, you have more chance of abrasion, of aggravation, of inflammation. So what can we do about all these things? Because remember, what we want is we want some curve in our spine, right? We want there to be some bounce. We don't want it to be rigid, but nor do we want there to be such big arches that we're causing problems elsewhere. And the two things I'd like to just take a look at, one is your lumbar arch, and then the other is standing versus sitting. So for many people, this lumbar arch may be overly pronounced. So imagine your hips, your pelvis is tilted forward like a forward train. Backwards would be like a reversing train. Forwards is like a forwards train. And imagine that then there's quite a big arch here. That means your back is tight here and it's pulling, there may be some compression. Now imagine that you're lifting a heavy weight that just adds to that compression. And that's why maybe when you stand, you have pain in your back because you stand with that pelvis tilted forwards. When you sit, that pelvis is more neutral, it's not carrying weight, and therefore it may relieve pain. However, conversely, the converse is also true. If you sit with not much arch, because frankly, a lot of people nowadays will slump when they're seated, slump in front of the computer, and then there's no arch at all, which may lead to disc compression in the other way and disc protrusion in the other way. And then when they stand and walk around, then the pain eases off. So the key to this is finding the right balance for you, the right level of arch in your lower back for you. And what you can do, if we think about kinds of things that you can do for yourself, first of all, you can experiment. So when you're standing, play with that forward tilt and that backward tilt and see what feels right for you. Do you feel stronger, more connected if you have a slight more backwards tilt, or does it need to come forward slightly? Very often it's more backwards. But when you're seated, you want to make sure that you do still have some kind of arch. So there, you'd be well served by a lumbar support. So something pressing into your back. Let me just show you the kind of thing. Something like this. And the key thing is to ensure that you're looking after your body, not a textbook body, not somebody else's body, but you're feeling and looking after your spine and finding those balances that work for you and keep you tension and pain-free. So as an exercise, remember, play with that pelvic tilt. Do get a lumbar support for your lower back for when you're sitting, and find the right balance for you. Of course, there are lots of exercises that you can find in other videos and other platforms to help build core strength, to open the chest, to reduce the amount of curve in the thoracic spine, to release the neck, all kinds of things. But in the first instance, play with the pelvic tilt, get the lumbar support, and feel for the balance that's right for you. I hope you found that helpful. Thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you in another video. Bye for now.